kit at home, I have like 6 drums and I have way more cymbals. And double pedals for everything.
Way too complicated.
Well, I've been working at it for about 40 years.
Well, it shows. amplifier needs to get up.
Yeah. whoever you are, wherever you come from, whatever age, ability, history, identity, gender, or sexual orientation, you are welcome to bring your full self here. Here to this place where we bring about a more just and loving world. Good morning, I'm Joy. My pronouns are they, them, and it is a joy to serve this community as a liturgist. We're grateful to have Amy Brobson and Rev Charles Laughlin with the Chalice Choir as hymn leaders, Greg DeLugos on piano, Rev Scott on drums, Marcus Hawk, our Director of Music Ministries, on guitar. If you haven't already, please put your phones in worship mode. And if you are new or have any questions, please find one of our greeters wearing the red stoles, those neck scarves. For those with children, ask a greeter about the Child Creative Engagement Toolkit in the Hanley Welcome Center. And we also have a nursery downstairs for kids under 6. Our greeters are here to help you connect and find your way. Our service today invites us to finish the revolution we began 250 years ago. And now, a member will share why they give their time, talent, and treasure to this congregation.
Good morning, my name's Matthew, my pronouns are he, him. You may know me as the guy who sits in the 4th or 5th aisle, because that's usually where the sun shines through our beautiful stained glass windows. You may also know me as the person who runs the deep listening group that meets at 11:30 a.m. in the Alliance Room on the 2nd and 4th Sundays of each month. If you haven't had a chance to attend yet, it's a space where we hear each other to heal each other, discussing everything from the service to world events to problems that we're facing in our own individual lives. All are welcome. I actually had my naming ceremony on this stage when I was a baby. My family were members here for many years. We then moved a few towns over, life got busy, and we stopped attending. Today, I'm a therapist, a founder and executive director of a nonprofit arts and community center in Butler called The Sanctuary. The Sanctuary is a community hub offering a home for social connection and creative expression. In my personal and professional life these days, I fill a lot of cups. So a few years ago, I was really in need of a community and a space that could fill mine, a space where I could deepen my spirituality. I randomly played a show on this stage a few years ago. It was supposed to be in the Van Vleck Garden, but it rained that day, and the show was moved last minute to this room. I immediately remembered how special this space had been to me for so many years in my youth. I remembered the smell distinctly. It was inviting. I remembered the kindness of the congregants. I showed up the following Sunday on my own and have been a regular attendee ever since. I eventually became a member here, pledging a monthly financial contribution, and I began volunteering with the Thrive team who host Deep Listening. What I love about this congregation is the love. The love that I see we give each other here in this room, the love that we have for all human beings, regardless of where they come from, who they love, or the pigment of their skin. I love that we treat love here as a verb rather than just a noun. M. Scott Peck defined love as the will to extend oneself for the purpose of nurturing one's own or another's spiritual growth. And is that not the UUCM way? I look forward to continuing to grow in love with this place and with all of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Matt. If you haven't yet, please make an annual financial pledge to support our programs and ministries. We live stream our services. While we cannot guarantee that you are not caught on camera, it is our intention to focus our cameras on the worship leaders. If you are new to our congregation, welcome. We hope that you fill out a Connect card. And let's now reach out to a few folks near us and offer some welcome and love.
Good morning. It's a pleasure beyond measure to be here. Reverend Scott, he, him, and I am. Thank you for encouraging and rewarding me for being all over the place today. I do enjoy that. Every now and then, a hymn speaks to me so much that I wish that I did it as a reading. So that's what I'm doing today. The first hymn that we shared, I'm going to be reading the second and third verses of hymn 287, excuse me. So if you want to follow along, it's in the gray hymnal. This is by Vincent Silliman, a prolific religious humanist author of the mid-20th century. Heroes of faith in every age, far-seeing, self-denying, wrought in increasing heritage, monarch and creed defying. Faith of the free, in thy dear name, the costly heritage we claim, their living and their dying. Faith for the people everywhere, whatever their oppression, of all who make the world more fair, living their faith's confession. Faith of the free, whatever our plight, thy law, thy liberty, thy light shall be our blessed possession.
Let's take a moment to thank those who have gathered, who have made a community. Special thanks to Susie Roman Luna for creating this month's chancel display. And let's celebrate those who make today's service possible. Our custodian, greeters, ushers, tech team, teachers, Connection Cafe facilitators, and worship leaders, thank you. From gratitude comes generosity. Did you know that average financial pledge to UUCM is $2,700? Your annual pledges of financial support comprise 75% of our income. So make your pledge today. And yet, we find ways to share. For the month of February, we will be sharing our riches with Pockets of Light. Pockets of Light is a Montclair-based nonprofit that builds a community for parents who have experienced the trauma of pregnancy and early infant loss. Through their peer-led support groups, they are able to provide a lifeline of compassion and hope for parents in their darkest hours. In just 10 years, Pockets of Light has helped nearly 1,000 parents on their path of healing. They also do life-saving educational outreach, providing prenatal loss training to local hospitals, nurses, and graduate programs with a focus in healthcare. Pockets of Light has lovingly cared for members of our own community when they have experienced loss. We hope they will continue in their good work to serve many more. You can text UUCM plate and your amount to 73256 to give. Mail us a check with plate in the memo, or simply place your gift in the offering basket. And community, please know that all of your gifts are worthy and they are all received with love. Ushers, please come forward.
called to find depth in our days and discover reverence here in this hour. We seek a gentle meditation, a focused reflection, an ardent prayer, each as we are called, and yet all together. And we enter into this space by hearing the lamentations, the requests, and the remembrances of our community. Let us hear one another to heal one another. Sophia Kyoko lights a candle of remembrance for Alexander Sasha Rosen. Sasha was a 17-year-old who was hit by a car and killed on February 7th. Sophia shares, "My thoughts and my prayers are with his family, and I'll miss the playground days we shared in elementary school." Sylvia Cowan lights a candle of love and protection for Maria Macario. Maria must report in person to immigration officials in Bedford, Mass. On Monday, February 16th, to request an extension of her stay with her 3 citizen sons. Maria, mother, grandmother, lay minister, has been in the United States for 35 years working and paying taxes and has no criminal record. We also pray for the compassion of the immigration agent. Nick Lewis, Judy Reinerson, Jim Abramson, Nelia Sellers, and Peg Sipe light a candle of sorrow for their recently deceased Montclair friend, Janet Pugh. Janet, a children's rights lawyer, worked for several years with longtime Unitarian Universalist members Jim and Nelia, and also served as an elder care lawyer with member Mary Wanderpolo. Janet was a family friend and a beautiful, intelligent, loving, and caring person with a warrior optimism. We wish for healing for her husband, Lang, son, William, and their entire family. Peg adds, "It really hurts to lose her." We light this candle for member Kirk Barrett. Kirk will have major heart surgery on Thursday. We hold him in our care, praying for the agile hands of his doctors and nurses and the blessing of his health and well-being. We light this candle for Raymond Collodi, who died on December 28th. We hold his wife Barbara and dear friend Jeff in our hearts as they grieve and remember him dearly. We light this candle to honor, to recognize, and to mourn the death of Jessie Daniel. Jessie Daniel, the mom of Judith Hogan, our religious education director, passed last night. We hold Judith and Judith's son, Liam, and daughter, Tara, in our hearts and in our prayers, and we pray that they will have the space they need to grieve and to honor their love for their mother and grandmother. Deborah Ann Tripoldi and family light a candle of gratitude for her healing. Thank you all for the love and support. No second surgery needed, says Debbie. And we light this final candle for the joys and the sorrows that are deeply felt but have not been spoken aloud. I welcome you to hold this silence with me as the silence holds us all. Please continue with me now in this common embodiment of reverence. Love that knows no border, no bounds, no walls. Love that finds us where we are and reminds us that we are not alone. Love that fills the cracks in our imperfection. Reign over us. Gratitude. Gratitude that rescues us from cynicism. Gratitude that reminds us that this is another day that we have been given. Gratitude that connects us in relationships of care to this earth without which we could not survive. Gratitude, reign over us. Still small voice of conscience that speaks to us from within. Still small voice of conscience that calls us to fulfill our duty to our neighbors, be they strangers or friends. Still small voice that goads us to love ourselves as ourselves. Reign over us. Forgiveness that speaks to us in the wind, that does not discriminate but touches us all. Forgiveness that reaches us from a distance or arises finally from within. Reign over us. Justice that is shaped by hearts when they activate our hands. Justice that we know when we see it and feel it and hear it. Justice that is liberation. Justice that is love. Justice that is gratitude, justice that is forgiveness. Reign over us and bring us the comfort that sustains all. Amen. Our response is comfort me. We invite you to sing along.
Everyone neath the vine and fig tree
Today's reading comes from Inward Journey Meditations on the Spiritual Quest by civil rights leader, the Reverend Dr. Howard Thurman. This reading is commonly titled, Keep Fresh Before Me, the Moments of My High Resolve. Despite the dullness and barrenness of the days that pass, if I search with due diligence, I can always find a deposit left by some former radiance. But I had forgotten. At the time, it was full-orbed, glorious, and resplendent. I was sure that I would never forget. In the moment of its fullness, I was sure that it would illuminate my path for all the rest of my journey. I had forgotten how easy it is to forget. If there had been some direct challenge, a clear-cut issue, I would have fought it to the end and beyond. Instead, little by little, there crept into my life the dust and grit of the daily journey. Details, lower-level demands, all kinds of cross-currents, nothing momentous, nothing overwhelming, nothing flagrant, just wear and tear. In the quietness of this place, surrounded by the all-pervading presence of the holy, my heart whispers, keep fresh before me the moments of my high resolve, that in fair weather or in foul, in good times or in tempests, in the days when the darkness and the foe are nameless or familiar, I may not forget that to which my life is committed. Keep fresh before me the moments of my high resolve.
Mr. President, you wanted to see me.
I know you're busy.
What do you need, sir? Sir?
I want to give you a word of warning.
Sir, I don't know what you heard, but whatever it is, Jefferson started it.
Thomas Jefferson resigned this morning.
You're kidding.
I'm gonna need a favor.
Whatever you say, sir, Jefferson will pay, sir.
Talk less.
I'll use the press. I'll write under a pseudonym. You'll see what I can do to him.
I need you to draft an address.
Yes, he resigned. You can finally speak your mind.
No. He's stepping down so he can run for president.
Ha! Good luck defeating you, sir.
I'm stepping down. I'm not running for president.
Wait, what?
One last time. Relax, have a drink with me one last time. Let's take a break tonight, then we'll teach them how to say goodbye. To say goodbye, you and I.
No, sir, why?
I want to talk about neutrality.
Sir, with Britain and France on the verge of war, is now the best time to...
I want to warn against partisan fighting.
But...
Take up a pen, start writing. I want to talk about what I have learned, the hard-won wisdom I have earned.
As far as the people are concerned, you have to serve. You could continue to serve.
No, one last time. The people will hear from you one last time. And if we get this right, we're gonna teach them how to say goodbye. You and I.
Mr. President, they'll say you're weak.
No, they will see we're strong.
Your position is so unique.
So we'll use it to move it along.
Why do you have to say goodbye?
If I say goodbye, the nation learns to move on. It outlives me when I'm gone. Like the scripture says, everyone shall sit under their own vine and fig tree. No one shall make them afraid. They'll be safe in the nation we've made. I want to sit under my own vine and fig tree, a moment alone in the shade. I at home in this nation we've made. One last time,
one last time. Though in reviewing the incidents of my administration, I am unconscious of intentional error, I am nevertheless too sensible of my defects not to think it probable that I may have committed many errors. I shall also carry with me the hope that my country will view them with indulgence, and that after 45 years of my life dedicated to its service with an upright zeal, the faults of incompetent abilities will be consigned to oblivion, as I myself must soon be to the mansions of rest. I anticipate with pleasing expectation that retreat to which I promised to myself to realize the sweet enjoyment of partaking in the midst of my fellow citizens, the benign influence of good laws under a free government, the ever-favorite object of my heart, and the happy reward, as I trust, of our mutual cares, labors, and dangers.
One last time.
Teach them how to say goodbye.
You and I.
George Washington's going home. George Washington's going home. George Washington's going home.
We're gonna teach them how to say
Teach them how to say goodbye. Teach them how to say goodbye. Say goodbye.
Say goodbye.
Say goodbye.
One last time.
One last
How about that? Whew, thanks for that song. One last time, Hamilton. And on President's Weekend, President's Day weekend. Who knew? This scene that you just saw focuses on George Washington's high resolve. Washington peacefully leaves the presidency, stepping away from power, guided by his role model, Cincinnatus, that Roman citizen soldier who handed power back to the people when the time came. As Washington sings in the song, "If I move on, the nation learns to move on and outlives me when I'm gone." Today's reading, just before that, reminded us to keep fresh before us such moments of high resolve, as shared by the deep witness of Reverend Dr. Howard Thurman. Now, known as the chaplain of the civil rights movement, Thurman advised Dr. King and many other movement leaders. He kept reminding them of the need to cultivate a rich inner life in order to advance liberation and equality, a key to remaining strong during a prolonged struggle. Thurman taught that prayer and meditation keeps us grounded, self-reflection keeps us honest about our own failings, and journaling keeps our minds engaged in the intellectual ideas grounding the movement. Not only is the foe relentless, Thurman shares, but the persistent grind of daily life, it allows the to-do lists and the annoying contingencies to dominate our consciousness. Instead, Thurman urges us to remember our loftier goals, to heed the moral guidance of our high resolve, those ethical standards that should characterize our actions and the world in which we live. And yet, Howard Thurman also knew that moral philosophy is useless as mere concepts. Those values must govern our actions and guide how we build our communities. He urged us to discover the core of our commitments to peace, empathy, and compassion, to bring into being a world shaped by our high resolve. As we approach the 250th anniversary of our nation's birth, we aim to keep fresh before us those moments of high resolve, informing our nation's promise, those most cherished of American values: pluralism, equality, liberty, duty. Perhaps there we can further our unfinished revolution. In our age, it may to some seem quaint to examine a man like George Washington to explore virtue, but I urge us to invite a deeper complexity into our moral calculus. Yes, the revolution remains unfinished, and imperfect people can do amazing liberatory things. Indeed, all who ever promoted and sacrificed for social justice have been imperfect, with many flaws, and some of those flaws that still haunt our nation. We confront our own imperfections by examining theirs. Now, George Washington was not a prolific writer like his contemporaries Franklin and Jefferson. He did leave us some revealing work nonetheless. He is known, for one, for a book on civility. These rules for civility have been traced to a French class Washington took when he was just 14. They were exercises in translating a 17th century book of manners from French into English. Guidelines describing expectation for a certain type of company among upper-class Euro-American society. And Washington so loved the advice given in this text that he kept a copy of it throughout his life. Here's a sample. Shift not yourself in the sight of others, nor gnaw your nails. Don't make faces. How am I doing with that, Reverend Anya? And my personal favorite, this is number 17. Do not beguile anyone with flattery, for he who aspires to gain favor with honeyed words shows that one does not hold the other in high esteem, that he deems him far from sensible or clever in taking him for someone who can be tricked by flattery. How's that going today? Rules for civility. Now, many writings Washington left us are instructive. In 1790, just 1 year into his first term as president, he made a public declaration of religious pluralism. In a response to a letter he received from a synagogue in Newport, Rhode Island, Washington wrote them back, sharing the following: if we have wisdom to make the best use of the advantages with which we are now favored, we cannot fail, under the just administration of a good government, to become a great and a happy people. So may the children of the stock of Abraham who dwell in this land continue to merit and enjoy the goodwill of the other inhabitants, while everyone shall sit in safety under his own vine and fig tree, and there shall be none to make him afraid. So may the Father of all mercies scatter light and not darkness in our paths, and make us all in our several vocations useful here, and in his own due time and way everlastingly happy. This was the very first time a message from any European or American leader honoring Jewish people and promising them full citizenship was uttered. 1790. In light of today's rising anti-Semitism, some coming from right-wing pundits as well as too many activists on the left, let us remind America of how Washington calmed the fears of the Jewish citizens of Newport. And let us remember also that Islamophobia stems from the same ugly hatreds as anti-Semitism. Now, George Washington seemed to be quite good at endings. He stepped away from the presidency once its time had come, although many around him urged him to remain. Some called him foolish for relinquishing power. He emancipated all the enslaved people in his control upon his death. Yes, a justice denied for too long. He delivered a forceful farewell address, which is what they were composing in that scene, warning against the dangers of factions and political parties, placing their special interests ahead of the whole nation. And then there are the 13 toasts, which we shared last week in part 1 of this series. So first, what exactly is a toast? You ever wonder where this word comes from? A toast gets its name from flavored breads which were dropped into water or other drinks to flavor them. It was customary to honor a host or comment on a given occasion while sharing a beverage, offering a toast. Toasting or pouring libations are ancient practices, as old as when human beings first gathered to celebrate something in common: success, good fortune, liberation, a birth. The 13 toasts were offered at France's Tavern, a place still in operation in the Wall Street area in Lower Manhattan. Be certain to visit the museum upstairs if you ever go there to have some Yankee pot roast. It was there after lunch one day that Reverend Anya and I first discovered those 13 toasts. They happened during celebrations on November 25th, 1783, and the guests were American, French, Swedish, and Dutch military officers and the governor of New York. All toasted their victory and the establishment of the American Republic. It was the final military act of the American Revolution. The war had been won, so Washington resigned his military commission, walked away, as he later would do, as president. What an example. Among the toasts were praises lifted to the United States of America, which was secured that very day, to His Most Christian Majesty of France, the United Netherlands, the King of Sweden. These 3 European powers assisted us in the war, as did some forces from Poland and elsewhere. And I wonder, how have we treated these longtime allies lately? To the American Army, this toast received a loud hurrah. To the fleet and armies of France, which have served in America. France was our closest ally for most of our history, and we theirs. To the memory of those heroes who've fallen for our freedom, a mournful cry to remember the dead. May our country be grateful to her military children. An almost biblical urge to not forget our duty to the widows and orphans of those same war dead. And then come the toasts pointing to our highest resolve as a people. Those ideals which, when followed, form the foundation of our nation's greatest promise. So as I read each, consider which ones our society currently seems to uphold. May justice support what courage has gained, or may our conduct and that of our posterity embody the values for which we so bravely fought. To the vindicators of the rights of mankind in every quarter of the globe, reminding us that freedom-seeking people everywhere are our allies, and they count on us because injustice anywhere threatens justice everywhere. May America be an asylum to the persecuted of the earth. This sentiment is echoed, as you know, by M.L. Lazarus's poem At the Foot of the Statue of Liberty. Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses, yearning to breathe free, the wretched refuse of your teeming shore. Send these, the homeless, tempest-tossed to me. Have we honored this one? May a close union of the states guard the temple they have erected to liberty. Or keep partisanship, factions, oligarchs, cancel culture, any of that nonsense from driving us into separate corners and misplacing our loyalties. Lastly, may the remembrance of this day be a lesson to princes. Well, it does seem that maybe somewhere today in some halls of power, some folks like to don the mantle, attitude, and trappings of kingship. Our revolution, it seems, remains woefully unfinished. And perhaps it has always been so. Justice, like love, is best used as a verb, not a noun, as a way of being. It's not a destination we will reach someday. It is how we orient our everything. Examining these toasts informs us about our work in America's unfinished revolution. Yes, history is fraught as we always judge what happened through our own moral lenses, which we should. There is moral evolution. But in our judgment of the people of history, we are asked to place ourselves in their shoes. William Faulkner was right. The past is never dead. It's not even past. And as James Baldwin echoes, the great force of history we carry within us. History is literally present in all that we do. George Washington's life is an imperfect example of a life of learning, compassion, restraint, concern for others, and a willingness to sacrifice all to bring into being a republic devoted not to kingship or raw power, but to sacred ideals grounded in a radical universalist definition of humanity. The notion of human dignity for which they fought, upon which our nation is founded, is grounded not in something earthly or human, but in the transcendent, in what many would call holy. Howard Thurman was very acquainted with this and with these ideals, these moments of our nation's highest resolve, which he championed in his work for liberation. Think of a moment of resolve as a resolution, a statement composed in debate and collegial camaraderie, expressing our deepest values as eloquently as we can. And the American Revolution was driven by resolutions expressing perhaps some of the loftiest ideas ever put into words. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all people are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Beloveds, we know how multitudes were excluded from the promise in 1776. Indeed, the words of the founders contain more truth and justice than did their lives and the customs by which they lived. The revolution remains profoundly unfinished. And this work is to be furthered by us and our posterity. Nevertheless, these values remain central to America's sacred promise because they are grounded in everlasting, universal notions of what it means to be human. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness cannot be sustained without a definition of humanity grounded in the transcendent. As Amre Bohm teaches in his new book, Radical Universalism Beyond Identity, when we define what it means to be human by citing only other human constructs, as being a member of this tribe or this race or that, or this nation or that, it becomes all too easy to declare other human beings as outside of the human family and their divine right to dignity. And once dehumanized. It becomes easier to treat them with cruelty, violence, and indifference. The values of pluralism, equity, liberty, interdependence, duty, these lie at the core of America's highest resolve and at the core of Unitarian Universalism. It was these ideals which inspired Frederic Douglass to not lose hope in America, although slavery was real, and goaded Abe Lincoln to wage war to end America's original sin of slavery. The unfinished revolution is ours to further. It promises transformation, and keeping fresh before us these moments of our high resolve, we learn lessons, we tell the truth. Beloveds, what should we toast together? For when the time for toasting draws near, I pray that it will come because we have championed and embodied the values that we know build a better world and make that world more beloved. Amen.
I'm glad you're on your way to the Freedom Land, because I was just on my way to the pulpit. Somebody's got to hold the course. So invest in our mission by pledging your financial support today. Our service invited us to finish the revolution begun 250 years ago. So keep fresh before you the moments of high resolve.
Matt Smith reminded us that love is the will to extend oneself for the purpose of nurturing one's own or another's spiritual growth or liberty. In the spirit of forgiveness and reparation, amidst the ravenous greed and lust for power that threaten to erase the grand American experiment, we honor what we can, we criticize what we must, and more so, we work our tails off to not let another generation pass without moving our nation towards a more complete embodiment of the resolve of its own highest ideals. So we once again have reasons to toast.
Yes. Let's share our unison chalice extinguishing. Our worship has ended. Let our service begin. Go in peace. Go in joy. Go in love. Join us for Connection Cafe through this door.
Can you email this to me?
I can do that too.
Yes, that is actually more helpful. Yeah. Because this is how my group is, because look at all this paper, you know. Yeah. Yeah, is it going to be here or in the Fletcher Hall? Okay, talk to Scott about that. Yeah. No, I'm sure it is, but you know, he's in charge of that. I mean, I assume, or, you know. He's more familiar with the sound system over there. So, he can go fast. Oh, thank you. He knows how to assemble good, you know, good group. No, this is a great, you know, instrument actually because it's so flexible. Sounds good.
And you're not there at the park, wow. Thank you. That was wonderful. Right, no, it was fabulous.
It was Scott's idea to do that song.
I didn't know you could sing so wonderfully. Wow. I mean, I knew you were a fabulous musician, but I didn't know. Did you know for the chorus, he records all the voices, he sings.
Including the sopranos.
Oh, wow. Yeah, no, I know. Anyway, it was just fabulous. I mean, yeah,